Right now, on To The Point, clearing encampments.
My situation is no different than a lot of people. I mean, we're stuck in that revolving door.
The progress made since the city announced their new approach. Aftershock attracting international guests to Sacramento, what you can expect this weekend. And tracking El Nino's fury. Tonight, a closer look at what our winter could look like. This is To The Point. I'm Becca Hobbiger. Alex Bell has the night off. Some homeless encampments are disappearing from the streets of Sacramento. I saw it happening just this morning on Broadway near the 99 overpass. It's the result of a new homeless response that we first told you about when the mayor announced it back in August. Tonight, we have an update. If you're wondering what happened on Broadway Friday morning under the 99 overpass, it depends on who you ask.
They just keep us moving, keep it moving.
Sammy Love, who has been out here for 15 years, sees destruction.
It doesn't look like much, but it's their home.
He lived with all his possessions in a camp a mile away on 16th and W Streets and says the city cleared it the day before, telling him he could only bring essentials with him.
It's hard to gather the things you need to survive out here in the streets when you don't have anything. You know, when they keep taking away from you and beating you down, and you have to keep gathering stuff you need to basically live, then you're never going to get ahead.
Others see this as the city enforcing its ordinances to keep sidewalks clear and protect critical infrastructure.
There's a responsibility for all of us to abide by our city codes.
Brian Pedro is the person tapped to lead the city's new homelessness response.
Logically.
As ABC 10 reported back in August, Sacramento Mayor Darrell Steinberg announced a new incident management team. It has the structure and coordination used to respond to things like wildfires and other large-scale disasters, bringing departments together to work toward the same objectives.
Compliance with our city codes, which we're getting compliance with. We're going to shrink that footprint of excessive storage that's out there and try and keep our sidewalks clear. So we're hitting those marks, and then we're providing the outreach.
Just in the last few weeks, he says, the city, in partnership with the county and local human service agencies, cleared encampments along the WX corridor and Alhambra Boulevard, something he acknowledges is disruptive.
It would be no different than going into somebody's house and telling them, I want you to go live somewhere else.
He says residents are given 72 hours notice and outreach teams offer services, which can be a painstaking process.
It takes at least 10 contacts just to get trust in them even accepting anything. It's baby steps. You can't take somebody that has a behavioral issue or has an addiction issue and just pluck them out of the street and put them somewhere. It's just too challenging for them.
Though he knows many people wish to see more encampments cleared and faster. As for Sammy Love, we asked where he plans to go next.
Just around the corner, as far as we can get. I mean, we're tired of moving. I mean, I don't know what else to do.
The incident management team encourages people to call 311 to report non-emergency concerns about unlawful encampments. Now, last year, the average response to a 311 call was 33 days. Mid-September of this year, it was 16 days. And as of today, Pedro says it's 11 days. So he says going in the right direction, but he hopes to get it down to a day or two. And there is new help. A community wellness center is now open on X Street near Broadway. It's called CORE. It offers basic services, and city leaders say there will be workers on site for people experiencing mental health crises.
And honestly, it will be a huge resource for the businesses because now the city will have some place that we can get people to get that immediate triage help, and there will be workers on site if someone's in mental health crisis that they can call to come help them so that they're not forced to call 911.
This new center is part of the city's and county's homeless partnership. They're offering care to everyone, though, no matter your housing status. In other news, 2 women killed in a car crash have been identified. Isabel Ramirez and Yolanda Rivas died when their car hit a tree and ended upside down in the water north of Rio Vista in Solano County. We first brought you this as breaking news last night on To The Point. A 2-year-old and a newborn were also in the car and survived, though the newborn is in critical condition. An investigation remains underway. And a search is on for a man following a sexual assault on the UC Davis campus. It happened on September 28th in the area between Kleber Hall and the Sprocket Bikeway. According to RAIN, the nation's largest anti-sexual violence organization, this is the most prevalent time for sexual assaults on campus when many people are living away from home for the first time.
They're creating new social groups outside of the familiar patterns and the familiar safe adults and peers that they've been growing up with. And there's also an accelerated speed of creating relationships.
Say things like blue light emergency call centers make them feel safer on campus. If you have any information that could help Davis police in this case, give them a call. And developing news in the healthcare workers strike. Today is the last day of the 3-day strike for more than 75,000 Kaiser Permanente workers. But the strike could resume next month as there is no deal in sight. The coalition of unions representing workers, including nursing staff, dietary staff, receptionists, optometrists, and pharmacists, is demanding pay increases. And they say understaffing is boosting the hospital system's profits but hurting patients. Kaiser says the next bargaining session is set for October 12th. And expect a lot of traffic in Sacramento this weekend. This is a live look over downtown Sacramento. Several festivals are underway, including Aftershock, which is promising to bring more than 160,000 people to the capital city. And today is day 2 of the 4-day rock festival. Our Roxanne Elias is looking at the impact.
Do we have any old school Memphis Mayflower fans in the house?
Rock and heavy metal
I want to see 2 picks.
are drawing in fans as far as the eye can see.
Yeah, today we're going to have 40,000 people here to see Tool tonight, which is very exciting. We are sold out.
Thousands of concert goers are coming in, creating a recipe for a traffic nightmare.
For Uber, getting there is okay. After, you're going to be stuck for a while.
It's Amy's 3rd time attending Aftershock. She's learned that taking the shuttle at Cal Expo is the best option after previously utilizing friends, taking Uber, and parking near the venue.
If you're going to attend the event, I think some of the things that Aftershock put out is there is parking at Cal Expo and then the shuttle to the event. That's going to be our biggest recommendation just to alleviate some of the traffic in that area.
Shamie McCurry with Aftershock says the more people can be prepared and understand where they're going, the better overall traffic for fans.
And then we have a pretty robust section on our website called Getting Here, which outlines our park and ride program as well as our ride share, drop off and pick up locations, public transportation options, and if you're going to walk or bike in, where you can come in through the Jaboom Street entrance.
And for people who are not attending the festival, Sacramento police also advise preparing beforehand.
I understand you may need to leave a little bit earlier. Try to avoid that area if you can. That South Natomas and that River District area, we are going to expect that there's going to be a lot of traffic. And so if you could plan ahead and kind of find alternate routes, that would be our biggest recommendation.
The biggest thing you can do is be patient. With some days already sold out here, tickets for the shuttle are starting to dwindle. So if you can go to the Aftershock website to purchase those tickets, you're asked to do that as soon as you can.
And Aftershock Festival organizers say this festival is generating tens of millions of dollars for the economy. And the activity continues next weekend with the Golden Sky Country Music Festival. Well, next on To The Point, El Nino's fury. Why what's happening right now in Australia could be a predictor of what to expect this winter.
Daytime highs 11 degrees warmer than normal this time of year with warm overnight lows. How hot it'll get through the weekend and for how long.
New reports about former Speaker McCarthy, what he's now denying. And later in the show, our John Bartel hits the back roads of Sacramento County where a flock of ostriches call home.
About how many chicken eggs do you suppose are in an ostrich egg?
About 32, 34.
32 eggs? Wow.
Here are more views from inside Aftershock. Day 2 of the 4-day music festival is underway right now. It's promising to bring more than 160,000 people to the area. But Carly, those 160,000 people should probably be hydrating, right?
I'd say so. I know there's a lot of drinks out there to get, even caffeine, and it is hot out there. You want to make sure you're hydrated. And this is the kind of heat that we'll be dealing with at least one more day, Saturday, but also Sunday, but in the lower 90s, something that we usually don't feel this warm in the middle of fall. High pressure system is in place. That's keeping us dry, but as soon as these start to weaken and shift to the east, we'll be seeing this low pressure system, the associated cold front out here, begin to start shifting over the Pacific Northwest, tapping into some of that moisture. That'll start moving in Monday afternoon, along with the cloud coverage and some strong winds. Right now, though, a heat advisory has been extended until Saturday night now for the Bay Area. They're all the way down towards Southern California until about 7 and then 11 p.m. Saturday, originally supposed to end tonight. Now, the futurecast winds a little breezy in and around the Bay Area for the next couple of days, but as we get from Sunday to Monday, it really starts picking up and pushing into the valley spots, 15 to 25 mile-per-hour wind gusts, and we're also seeing some flare-ups for the coastal range around the Bay, and then getting stronger once again Monday morning into the afternoon as that cold front starts to push through, bringing in the cloud coverage, but also bringing in this rain. We'll see our first shot at looking at that rain closer around 3 p.m. And then you get all of that starting to shift into your evening commute. So please be ready if you're taking I-5, 80, 50, 99, everyone really affected by all these major routes. Again, please be careful into your Monday evening commute as we'll start seeing some of the showers arriving. As much as about a 10 to a quarter inch of rain is expected. Lower foothill spots in the mid to low 90s tomorrow with mid 90s, 96 in Ione. And then the 10-day forecast does bring us down to the low 90s Sunday. Quite the drop Monday, Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day on Monday at 71 degrees with 70s and 80s into next week.
Thank you, Carly. Next on To The Point, defying expectations, what today's impressive jobs report means for inflation. And tracking El Nino's fury, what our winter could look like. It was well above economists' expectations. Today's new jobs report showed 336,000 jobs were added across the country in September. This signals a resilient job market. Most of the jobs added were in government, healthcare, and leisure and hospitality. Wages were up 0.2% for the month and more than 4% for the year. Now, this is raising hope that the Fed will not increase interest rates, but there are other reports that go into their decision making. Rumors are spreading about the future of California Congressman Kevin McCarthy, who was recently ousted as Speaker of the House. Politico is reporting that McCarthy is considering resigning from the House before the end of his term, though McCarthy denied the report late this afternoon. The House is expected to vote on a new Speaker as soon as next week. There's a weather phenomenon underway right now that could tip the scales this winter. Forecasters are saying this will be an El Nino year. But what does that mean and what could be headed our way? Meteorologist Rob Karlmark takes a closer look.
It just didn't really seem like it would turn out to be something this crazy.
Few things in the weather world fire up the hype train more than El Nino.
The Bureau is today declaring that an El Nino event is underway in the Pacific Ocean.
That's when the water in the central Pacific is much warmer than normal, and it can alter weather patterns all over the world. It's been catching the eye of millions impacted during California's winter, and what starts in the ocean stokes those who enjoy the water and waves. You see, surfers were one of the earliest adopters of the El Nino chatter, including surf forecaster Mark Sponsler, who started Storm Surf. It's one of the best one-stop shops to track the data that goes into El Nino forecasting.
Some winters are dry, some winters are wet. Some years the surf is huge, some years it's not. Some years the snow is just epic and others it isn't. And all this is tied to the El Nino.
This year, most weather experts agree that by now, El Nino is indeed happening. You'll notice the warm water, compared to normal, indicated by yellows and reds, don't just begin and end in the region. It's everywhere.
If it's warmer everywhere, there's more water vapor being pushed up into the atmosphere. That creates more energy, which feeds the jet stream. So it's not an exact science. The research branch of meteorologists are trying to look at this and figure it all out, but it's happening real time, and it's sort of like trying to hold on to catch up to a fast-moving train. It's a challenge.
Even though this year's El Nino might have some surprises down the road, some signatures are starting to show up now. For Australia, El Nino often means hot and dry with bushfires. They just had their hottest and driest September on record.
Now, in the state that I live in, New South Wales, around 30% of the state has now officially gone into drought, and that's also due to below average rain in August. And just yesterday, we had 80 bushfires across our state. So yeah, there is definitely an impact.
One of the lead meteorologists for the Australian broadcast company, Tom Saunders, is just as tuned into El Nino's development and impacts as we are, and the global event is just getting started. More heat and fire is something nobody wants to go back to.
It's been very hot, it's been very dry, there's bushfires burning, we've had smoke in the air. Many people, I think they're scared because we had our worst bushfire season on record only 4 years ago before that triple La Nina. we lost 3,000 homes during that season. So a lot of people, their memories, they're coming back from that event.
Meteorologist Rob Karlmark joins us now. Rob, I think the question people have after watching this is, what does this mean for us here in Northern California?
You know, El Nino is tricky in any given year, but as you heard Mark in the story, he was talking about how the water's just warm everywhere. So this will be a unique situation where we have El Nino along with warm water all over the planet. With that said, more often than not, El Nino starts in Southern California. It's wetter. If it's really strong, 2 out of the 3 strong years, we have seen wet winters here in Northern California. But again, this year will be different, so we all have to watch it together.
Sure, and what could El Nino mean for the snowpack here?
That's a very great question. Actually, today, UC Berkeley has a snow lab. It's at the top of Donner Summit. It became very famous with this last winter, and they went back and looked at the 10 biggest winters that they've seen. 5 were connected to El Nino, 4 were La Nina, 1 was neutral. So in their words, they also are watching to wait to see what happens. However, they are expecting warmer temperatures this upcoming winter.
Great, Rob. Thanks for bringing us the latest news on that. We'll be tracking it. Every Friday, our John Bartel hits the back roads. Tonight, we're staying in Sacramento County, where the climate is perfect for raising ostriches.
A bird's eye view of the farming community of Harold in Sacramento County is pretty much what you would expect. A lot of orchards and a lot of farmland. But at ground level, you get a view of birds, flightless ones. The flock of ostriches in Ivan Toderka's pasture are not pets or part of some petting zoo. In fact, far from it.
They can get you. The trick is when you do it, you don't want to pull the hand out because your skin is going to stay in there.
Ivan and his wife Natalia run California Ostrich Valley, a poultry farm and ranch with an ever-growing population. How many ostriches do you have here?
About 90.
Ostriches are primarily native to South Africa, but Ivan fell in love with the idea of farming them in his home country of Moldova.
In the early 2000s, it was a craze in Romania, Hungary, Bulgaria. When I was in high school, I started researching that kind of stuff.
Fast forward to 2018, and Ivan's dream came true.
What do you do with an ostrich?
Well, in our case, we breed them and we get chicks out of them.
That's right. It's an egg farm, an adorably cute ostrich egg farm.
Welcome to the world. Yes.
On any given week, 3 to 5 babies hatch from these specially designed incubators, and Natalia is one of the first there, helping them break out of their shell.
That's first what they see, that's you.
So they really think you're mama?
Yes, for them.
Ivan and Natalia sell chicks in many different forms. Some are still growing in the eggs, some are days old, and others are much larger, depending on what the buyer wants.
So they grow really quickly. How fast do they grow?
Buyer beware. Ostriches are curious animals that love to investigate everything with their beaks, including our camera and the buttons on my shirt. The cute baby chick phase doesn't last long. Ostriches grow about a foot tall a month. And you know what else gets bigger?
You definitely got to watch where you step when you come in the pen, then, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, now with the dry weather, they dry out and you don't really have to worry about it.
Yeah.
One of Ivan's top sellers are unfertilized eggs, which are great for a big breakfast.
About how many chicken eggs do you suppose are in an ostrich
About
egg?
32, 34.
32 eggs? Wow. And if you're careful, you can save the shells for decorating. Ivan's father-in-law hand carves these beautiful designs on empty eggshells. A big part of the business is educating people about how to raise an ostrich. By request, Ivan will give tours of the farm and hands-on lessons on how to care for ostriches or raise them for meat.
That is a very thick thigh there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big drumstick.
Ivan says the warm Central and Sacramento Valley climate is perfect for raising ostrich. So whether you want to start a farm yourself or just pick up an egg for breakfast, you're welcome to drop by for a visit.
From California Ostrich Valley in Harold, I'm John Bartel. Hope to see you on the backroads. Let me just slow down.
And I can attest, I have had an ostrich egg frittata, and it is delicious. Now, if you have a place for John to check out on the back roads, text your idea to 916-321-3310. We're back after this. So as you heard, Monday Night Football airs right here on ABC 10 on Monday. That does mean To the Point will not be on Monday, but we encourage you to stick around after the football game for a story I've been working on. 911 dispatchers, they're fielding a growing number of non-emergency calls. That, of course, takes away from more urgent calls. The good news is there is a pilot project targeting frequent callers. It's making a difference. I'll introduce you to Sac Metro Fire's mobile integrated health team. That story airs right here after Monday Night Football. To the Point will be back on Tuesday. Have a good night and a great Friday.
Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.